Yeah, so talking about the WCB regulations and rules, there's a whole lot, right? And so when you first give somebody that book in the supervisor's course, it's, oh my gosh, what am I going to do here? Maybe this isn't a good idea. But I actually aren't concerned about any of those rules and regulations. If there's something I don't know about, like a very specific regulation, I can do the research about it. But with our new supervisors, if you're doing the job the way it's meant to be done, those rules and regulations are covered. They really are. It's not like you got to remember this rule is blah, blah, blah. It's just really is that you got, in particular if you got experienced workers, there's not a lot of mystery about what the rules and regulations are, okay? And I don't organize our crews or activities around fitting a rule. It's doing the job safely. If you're doing it safely, in 99% of the cases, you are fulfilling on the regulation.
Some advice I give to new supervisors that were kind of dealing with the safety aspect and quality and production and stuff is that you have to really understand what your responsibilities are under WorkSafe, so under your legislation, because it is very spelled out and very key, and it's really important. That is to some supervisors more than they expected as far as competency checks and making sure your staff are trained properly and giving them the right equipment and all that information. There's a lot of stuff out there to help them in determining what needs to be done. So first I'd say that take the courses on the safety, make sure you understand, or sorry, on supervision, make sure you take the courses on supervision, you understand what your role and responsibilities are, and then come up with a system of checks and balances so that it fits in with your production and everything else that you're doing. So you try and make it a seamless system. That seems to work the best. So if you can have the forms that are integrated with other things that you're doing, so it just becomes part of your business, then it would be much simpler to do.
You know, everything that the industry has come through in the last 20 years, that there's been programs developed which highlight certain aspects of a supervisor's job, and that helps with just letting them know what their responsibilities are, and also letting them know what's expected of them, and ways to manage that, and having good programs in front of them. When I started, there was very little for programs, very little for outlines of what's expected of you, or even awareness of the legal responsibilities that you take on as a supervisor. And I think that changes a lot. When I was young, I had no idea that my actions I could be held really accountable for my actions. And when I explain that to new supervisors, it seems to impact them that, okay, well, if I'm managing 10 people and I make a very poor decision, then it's not just the contractor that's liable for that mistake, but it's also the individual that's liable for that mistake. So realizing that your responsibility carries weight with it.
Yeah, when you're becoming a new supervisor, it can be overwhelming, all of the policies and the legislation and the information that you can read about everything from, one end of forestry to the other. So I think the best thing for new supervisors to do is to take the opportunity to job shadow, go out with somebody who's more experienced. And if you don't have the opportunity and you're out there and you are expected to be the supervisor and be in the role where you're enforcing these rules, and maybe you don't feel as comfortable, just ask questions. Most of the people you're working with have been there for a long time, and if you ask questions, everybody's willing to help you out.